Hello and welcome back to another video unboxing. This is the Super Cassette Vision, a Japanese console from the 80s, and a bunch of games for it. You'll see mostly of them in the boxes as well. So I'll quickly move those aside, get those off from the top of here. Also some cartridge games. Probably just look at those quickly first, although I think most of them are probably going to be duplicates of some of the ones we've got in boxes. So I'm just going to take these out. The package is already open, so we can just take those out. So there's only two green ones, which I think are probably both Super Soccer. So if you don't know, in Japan in the 1980s, obviously there was the NES, but before that there was the Cassette Vision, which sort of popularized video games. It's also why they're called cassettes in quite a lot of occasions, so the banning of the Cassette Vision. And of course, they wanted a competitor later on to release, to compete with the Famicom, and released the Super Cassette Vision, which is also, I think, the reason why the second Nintendo console is called the Super Famicom, is because they took their Super from this. Interestingly, this was also supported RGB out, which I think was one of the first consoles to actually support RGB out. Let's quickly go through these games here. Two copies of Super Soccer. That one's a bit more faded. Let's put those. We also have two copies of this game. It's both white cartridges, Elevated Fighting again. See, that one's much more faded, but this one is much worse condition. So you can see, not the best condition for some of these. Let's put those ones down there. These two, similar color, but no, they're different games. I think the rest of them all, I think these are all individual games, other than soccer and whatever that Elevator Fight game. We have, not sure what game that is, Mahjong maybe, in faded label. We have Punch Boy, faded on that side. Some game, but Lupin the Third. We have Wheelie Racer. We have Astro Wars, and we have Super Golf. We also have sort of Gallagher clone here. Is that Astro Wars potentially? Yes, we can find out. Hard to get the cartridges out. Most of them are this short. There's also a couple of longer ones as well. Yeah, Astro Wars. Put that back in there. And we do have two copies of Baseball here as well. It's a different condition. Both are pretty bad. Let's go a special little sticker, because even though they are actually the same game, they're both actually just Super Baseball. Interesting thing is, let's get that in. There we go. This is the original release of the game, and then they re-released the game basically as a tie-in with a baseballer. So it's basically one of the earlier versions of them rebranding a game for like a time, which has happened a few times over the years. Obviously, there's like sports star based games, but it's also been a few instances where they just take an existing game and just slap someone else on the cover. But this again is just exactly the same. As far as I'm aware, there's no difference between these two versions. I guess it's also similar to on the original Cassette Vision. There's two versions of baseball. The second version that came out removed, I believe it's the multiplayer, or it's one of the features that they removed, and they resold the game again. And basically the logic was, in the newer Cassette Vision Junior couldn't support whatever the feature was, so they just made a new version of the game, took it out, and then re-released it as a different game. A bit dusty there. Here is our golf game. There are 18 holes. Some information on there as well. There's one that we already had in there. This is Kung Fu Road. Yes, we could probably look at the back of some of these as well to see what the graphics look like. It's pretty good, especially compared to the Cassette Vision, which I think was also just black and white. This one doesn't have a picture on the back. It's just got a bit of information. Same as this one. That one, but does this one have any? Nope. I guess with these ones they had the pictures on the front. This one has had a baseballer. This is an illustration, so maybe it's a later one where they had an illustration on the front instead. This one's Mahjong, so it's another copy of Mahjong. Except the other one was a different color, so maybe the other one wasn't Mahjong. That's the back of the cartridge. Got a game here called Comic Circus. Let's open that up. See the cartridge, the greenish color there, and the back of the game. There we go. And this one's Boulder Dash from USA, American game. There's the gameplay. Actually, from the perspective, looks like it's actually a photograph of a screen and not like an actual digital screenshot they put on. This is more information about it there. These last ones I won't be opening because they're in pretty good condition. They're also wrapped up, so I don't want to mess that. But we've got this one, which I'm not sure what it's called, but there's the picture of the back. We have Dragon Slayer, which is interesting because it actually has a battery backup. It's the first game to actually use a battery backup. It's a much larger cartridge compared to the standard cartridges. It's much taller because it has a slot for, I think it's 2 AAA batteries in the top. There is the back. So yeah, it's a early RPG, pretty advanced for the time. And this one is YY Monster Land. There's the picture of the graphics at the back. They'll leave all those 3 in the packet. They're not like factory sealed, but they're being sealed by whoever, like wrapped up by the reseller. Pretty decent condition. Next, most important thing I think is the console. So that pulls out like that. Actually, probably look at the back as well. So here is the back. It had a RGB cable, so you can use the RGB. There's the usage. So let's open this up. You can see there's also a couple cartridges that have just been put in here. Super Baseball, which is that baseball game we looked at. We've got Super Golf, again the golf game we looked at, and this one is Astro Wars 2 Battle in Galaxy. A very creative name. This is obviously a aftermarket adapter, but it does seem to nicely fit in there. It's a bit of green plastic. Well, it looks like this one makes habits. I'm not sure how that would break. It's just brittle from age. Yeah, but that looks like it's broken off. So clearly it's supposed to be another piece of plastic, but that's also just missing. So that one fits there, but this is the piece on the other side. So we'll take this out and we'll have a look at the actual console. So similar to some of the other consoles, like the Intellivision, how it has their little cards that go over the control pad. This one has a similar thing where it's a little card for different games can go over this numpad here, so you sort of tell you what the buttons represent. Although I think most games have probably lost those, same as the Intellivision. We have the cassette or cartridge port, but it's labeled cassette here as well, and that should just fit there. It's keyed, so it only goes one way. There we go. It's a little vent there, not sure if it's a speaker or whether it's like cooling or something. Power on off. Got a reset and pause button. Let's see if we can get this out. So in here is the actual controllers. There we go. So it is sort of melting the plastic here, which isn't good, which is all these old sort of rubbery things do. It's also a bit sticky. The controls are also yellowed. So it's basically a joystick, and it's got 2 buttons. They're both labeled start, it looks like. So maybe they're the same button, I'm not exactly sure. Like just a little joystick there, 2 controllers, color coded. We'll close that up. We'll have a look at the bottom as well. So you see you've got these little feet. There's just plastic there though. Got video and VDD, there's like little potentiometers in there that you can adjust. We've got channel 1 and 2, which are individual things, it's not like a switch. So I'm not exactly sure how that would work. But it's just to adjust the channels. With sound, so I guess that's probably adjust the volume. So AC power goes in there. We've got that RGB connector for that video out, so it looks like a SCART. With RF cord, because this doesn't have a composite video, it has a basically TV signal out. With like a lot of older consoles, there's no input for TV, so they have to use it as the output. Then we've got our switch here for RGB for that output. We've got channel 2, channel 1 for the RF modulator. That's the look at the Super Cassette Vision. If you like the video, comment down below your thoughts, and subscribe to some videos like this in the future.
Thank you.